So if you haven't heard, Ubisoft has a game they're about to release at the end of this summer called XDefiant. Now, some of you might not have any clue as to what XDefiant even is, so let me give you the rundown. XDefiant is a free-to-play, first-person arena shooter designed to be more of an arcade shooter. Sounds fun, right? Well, to me it was, but I don't think that's where the problem with this picture arises, and maybe the hype in general. You see, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 was a multiplayer first-person shooter game developed by Treyarch in 2018, and it was published by Activision during the Activision Blizzard era. And XDefiant feels somewhat similar to that. But even though the Battle Royale game mode from Black Ops 4 was pretty successful in terms of perception, that doesn't necessarily mean the multiplayer was. For me, I thought Black Ops 4 was the best Call of Duty to date, at least the multiplayer feel-wise, because it blended fast-paced gameplay with not dying in one bullet. Now, we don't have to dive too much into the poor balancing of that game, but just know, the dual-wielding SOG ruined the game. That shit had to be one of the most disgustingly overpowered guns I've ever seen in an FPS game, period. Shit would kill you instantaneously from what seemed like a mile away at launch.
Oh my, this is actually disgusting. How did someone look at this and go, yep, that's fine? I don't even think I have to be present at my PC for this to work, bro.
Oh, got me a hit marker.
This is disgusting.
Now, they did end up nerfing it and making the game more balanced, but I had already quit playing the game by that time. The shit was everywhere. But what does that have to do with XDefiant? Well, that's the thing. I'm sort of confused as to how people weren't super enthused about Black Ops 4, but now XDefiant comes around and it's the COD killer. Wait, what? I think people are just sort of over the feel of the last 4 Call of Duties and they want a different feel. At least that's what has happened with the COD franchise over the years. Look at this. World at War to Modern Warfare to Black Ops 2 to Ghost, then Advanced Warfare, slowing it back down to Black Ops 3, then speeding it back up with Infinite Warfare, which wasn't perceived that well, to Black Ops 4, and then into what is now the Modern Warfare feel. That's a lot of switching up. So technically, according to the statistics, it only makes sense that people want or expect something new. So yeah, XDefiant feels like a slightly better Black Ops 4, but there's a catch. I'm not gonna dick ride XDefiant or completely shit on it, but I think there's pros and cons to the game that should be addressed. We talked about how the SOG broke Black Ops 4 at launch, but all the guns in XDefiant feel within each other's power level for the most part, which is a good thing. Winning a gunfight with any gun against any gun feels doable. But from my time playing, I felt that the SMG's range was fucking pitiful. There were just certain maps that I refused to use SMGs on because their range is so low, and almost all the maps feel like SMGs can only compete within certain parts of the map, making certain parts of the map off limits. I'm not saying give SMGs a huge range buff, but maybe a little range buff would feel more consistent for them, like a slight 2-meter range buff and increase it slowly from there if needed. And while we're on the guns, the gunplay feels good, or at least I liked it, but fuck man, that hit detection is god awful. That shit is trash, dog. Some games felt decent, some games felt bad, some games fluctuate throughout the match. And hopefully they fix it when the game launches or shortly after, but for the time being, it's just kind of annoying. And I'm not sure what things affected time to kill, like ping or whatnot, but there would be multiple times throughout games where I could unload 7 bullets into somebody and then they would just turn around and kill me with 2. Even when I clearly shot them first or hit the first bullet. But this tied with the movement also makes for a headache, because at the moment it just seems that sometimes when people move, their hitboxes become fucky, especially like mantling hitboxes and any hitboxes similar to that. So move equals invincible. Got it. Now don't get me wrong, I like the movement in the game, but I definitely feel like there are ways they could have made it slightly better, as in smoother, and unfortunately it's a movement system that's easily abused, and that's just the nature of movement like this. But I would say that they could nerf it a little bit, but I don't trust them to do it in a way that would make the movement still feel good, so maybe they just shouldn't touch it. From the gun skins I've seen in YouTube vids, I think they will have some pretty decent skins. Nothing like a dog shit free-to-play game that has dog shit skins, am I right? I also thought most of the maps were actually great or decent, but also ones that were absolute trash, and even some that I ended up just banning from playing, but this is just personal preference. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Mayday. I'm gonna go through the maps and my thoughts on them, and I'll even rate them from like my point of view. At first, I didn't like Plebido, but then I used an AR on it and it felt pretty good. So I'm gonna rate it a solid A-. Noodleplex has the big map syndrome that curses a lot of maps, and you either use an AR or a sniper or have an aggravating time. Almost every single time I played this map, people played nothing but snipers and played the most boring aim down sight simulator I've ever seen. I thought the game was supposed to be fast paced, not at your own pace. So for that reason, I'm gonna give it a C-. Attica fucking Heights. My God, this seems like it's everyone's favorite map, but I didn't think it was all that. The map colors felt dull, and I don't even know how to describe it, honestly. Also, the verticality is always tricky with maps, and I personally didn't like it with this one. I also didn't like fighting in any part of the map besides in the top middle around the drop down hole. So I think it's a solid B-, just because I know there are other really bad maps. The same goes for Dumbo, where there are just shittier maps, which automatically bumps it up by default. But I thought the map was a little too labyrinthy and chaotic, so it would probably be somewhere at the bottom of B tier. Echelon, whatever the fuck you want to call it, Echelon HQ is definitely at the top of A tier. It's just a really solid map, and the only bad thing about it is how open the main spawn locations are. Emporium is pretty dog shit, honestly. It can swap places with Noodleplex for back and forth in C tier, but it just depends on the lobby. Both main spawn points are terrible, and the ranges for the map feel awkward because you need an AR until you reach the middle of the map where SMGs dominate. Liberty is pretty good too, but it falls into that awkward ranges category for SMGs, and you're just better off using an AR, but it's still solid all around. My only complaint is how you can snipe someone from across the map on it. What? So, B tier. I fucking hate Mayday, and apparently it's one of the more popular maps too. The sightlines of this map make playing SMGs unplayable unless you're in the middle of the map, which, by the way, if you don't control the middle of the map, you aren't going to have a fun time. Now, usually maps are all about the middle control, but damn, fucking Mayday takes it to a whole new level, bro. The layout of the map feels like what a plane wreckage would look like. Oh, wait. So this map is banned, and I will never play it again. It's dead to me. Meltdown is solid, but it's your typical long-range map. Snow maps for me usually aren't it because I feel like the aesthetics clash with the fast-paced gameplay, and also the colors of snow maps are usually dull and washed out. At the beginning of the map, it is very long range, like too far range. So for those reasons, I'm gonna give it a solid C. And unfortunately, I didn't play the game modes that featured Midway, Times Square, and Zoo, so I'm just gonna skip them and ignore them for now. But from what I've seen from the gameplay, they're probably all C tier. Now, Showtime and Arena are the best fucking maps in the game, point blank period. I would take either of them if they showed up, and I really do believe they need to add a 24/7 Arena or a Showtime or even both. The only real problem with Arena is the spawns get kind of wild, like Nuketown feels sometimes, but I'm sure they can tweak it up a little bit. Plus the map is super small, so it's kind of expected. And I only got to play Showtime once, which is wild to me because it only showed up in the map rotation once, which is something I can't believe games don't do. Please, for the love of God, add maps into the map rotation based on player perception or maybe playtime. I don't know, but fuck, man. I can't tell you how many games over the years where it seems like the only maps in the game are like 4, and 3 of the 4 are fucking straight dookie, bruh. Is that too much to ask? Is it that hard to have a proper map pool rotation, whatever the fuck? I also don't think having a one-shot body shot sniper in a game like this is good either, but oh well, it's there. Just look how overpowered it definitely doesn't look. Now, the characters. Hey, DJ! Give me a fat beat! Ubisoft made a class-based character system based from all their other main brand games. Cool. It's alright, but some characters are obviously better than others, like abilities and passives. Like, for instance, Libertad, the healer class that is considered the overall best class, and I kind of agree. Not in a, oh my god, they're overpowered, but in a, they just have the best overall package to offer top way. Their passive slowly heals you and nearby allies, and that's pretty good. And it also cancels out the Cleaner's Burn damage passive. One of their abilities is a backpack thing that you sit down and it heals you and allies until it's destroyed or canceled. But their boost ability that boosts total health and regen for you and nearby allies, I felt like it was bugged. I don't remember it giving me a 20-point health boost when I played, but again, maybe it's just bugged, I don't know. Their ultimate provides a a large health and healing boost for a limited time, and it is extremely good. I just think the deploy time takes a little too long because almost every single time I used it, I ended up dying while I was locked into animation. I'm not saying make it instant, but buffing the deploy time by milliseconds would definitely make it feel better. The Phantom's passive give them 20 increased health, which is pretty good. Their barrier ability blocks incoming enemy fire while letting you shoot through it. Now, I know some people complain about it, and at times it is sort of annoying, but when compared with other abilities, it is definitely middle of the pack when it comes to annoyance. It's a solid ability, and they're best by far, but the trade-off is a long cooldown time. Their little riot shield ability is just really fucking troll. I don't even know. Yeah. I didn't really understand how to fire during the ultimate either, but essentially it's a Titan bubble from Destiny or a Halo bubble shield that is attached to your character while giving you a shotgun. It sounds pretty decent, but it's kind of mid. The spy class's passive, low profile, makes the agent not appear on the enemy minimap, so essentially it's just a free silencer. That's pretty good. Their scan ability basically gives you wall hacks, is pretty good, but their invisibility is, in my opinion, the better option. And I mean, it's fucking invis, brother. It's just kind of cheese, and I foresee it pissing a lot of people off, including myself, but the cooldown for the ability is way too short. Like, you can spawn, activate it, lose a gunfight, and you'll still be able to activate it again when you spawn. Wait, what? I just think it needs a cooldown nerf. The Sonar Goggles Ultimate gives you wall hack for the duration and is also a one-shot headshot pistol that also two-shot body shots. The best ult in the game by far, but on PC, I felt like my shots never registered correctly. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe they can fix it or tweak it. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is annoying, and it's just the way these types of games go, but we haven't even got to the problem yet. Now, the cleaners are in a weird spot. People think they are the worst class, and I thought so too, but after playing with it, that's not necessarily the case. Their passive gives them incendiary rounds, inflicting extra burn damage, which is pretty good, right? Well, it also decreases weapon range. Take that and the healers out healing, or the Phantoms just having more health to outlive it, and it really just doesn't seem worth it. Their drone ability is a napalm delivering drone that burns everything in its path, and it's kind of glitchy. Like, there will be times you think you can send it over a small barrier, and it just crashes straight into it, and it's like, wait, what? There will be times where you think you'll kill someone with it, and it actually not kill them, which is like, wait, what? And their firebomb ability is where you explode like a Molotov, and it's actually really good for the hardpoint game mode Occupy. But it has such a niche way to use it that it's like, why even pick the class? Cleaners are just in a rough spot is all. But hey, the flamethrower is buzzing and is actually really fun and good to use, but that range feels really cheesy at times. Now for fucking dead's sake, this fucking class, man. The hacker class. It's just for campers and cheese and trolls, man. At first, I was like, oh, they suck. Boy, was I in for an awful time. I started playing the playtest. No one was playing it. Good shit. But then, out of nowhere, a facehugger from Alien starts attacking my face, making my movement completely locked up. It's so fun, bro. The class was in every single match lobby at the end of my playtime. Now, I ain't gonna lie, that shit is busted cheese. And if that's the way they are gonna take the game's direction when it comes out and it comes to the characters, then we are in for a rough time, brother man. You see, not only does the Spirebot target and stun the nearest enemy, but this shit will track you down even if you aren't that close. For those of you who aren't that keen into the higher tiers or ranks of gameplay, information and movement are king. This piece of shit gives you both, leading you toward the direction of the closest enemy player if they aren't even close, and immobilizing them for 3 seconds if that happens is not good for the game. If this thing touches you, you're GG'd. There's nothing you can do. My prediction, this one ability alone will make a lot of players quit the game. And let's not forget about their Fabricator passive that prints a new deployable after a device is deployed. Infinite bouncing betties? Nice. Sounds fun, right? I'm not really sure how the hijacked ability works because I've never seen it, but it lets you hack enemy deployables and make them your own. Self-explanatory, I guess. Their ultimate is pretty annoying too, disabling enemies' HUDs and mini-maps and abilities in the affected area, and I felt like the shit was going across the whole damn map for some reason. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to them removing the class from the game, but we know they won't do that. I just can't fathom adding such a cancer class to the game when the drawbacks outweigh the positives. Escort, Zone Control, Domination, Occupy, and Hotshot are the game modes. I didn't play Zone Control. I accidentally loaded up Escort for the first game, and it feels like it takes way too long. Domination is domination, and yes, the spawns are fucked. Occupy was actually my favorite because it felt like a better domination, but it's just hardpoint from Call of Duty. And Hotshot is kill confirmed with a wild take on the movement when you are the hotshot. I just don't know how I like it, but it is my second favorite game mode. Now, I can't tell you if you'd like the game or not, but you should be able to make an educated guess if you would or not from everything I've explained and showcased, and also the gameplays out there on YouTube. All I can say is try it out because it's free, but I enjoyed my time playing it for the most part, and I plan on streaming it and making videos on it. That is if I ever get a decent PC again. But hey, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Later!